Hello, and welcome to the second ever episode of Create and Cry with me, Cecilia. Today's topic is embarrassment, and I'm gonna read some little diary entries later from my own personal diary from, I think, elementary school. And that'll be a little fun time we're gonna have for today. We're gonna keep things good. So, I wanted to talk about embarrassment today because I feel like embarrassment can really hold people back from actually doing what they want in life. Because everything just feels cringe all the time. Even the word cringe feels cringe to me to say. But that's just life. You just kind of gotta embrace the embarrassment and embrace it all. But it's so hard. Because even when I was watching my first podcast episode, the last one I just had, I was editing it, and when I first was editing it, I was like, "Oh, this is fine. I guess this is good for a first episode, I guess." But the more I went back and watched it and tried to edit it, the more I overthought everything, and the more I thought the episode was awful. And I was like, "This is so embarrassing." So the more we overanalyze things, it becomes so embarrassing, and I know this is kind of getting into not thinking. I know this is kind of getting into overthinking topic instead of embarrassing, but sometimes when I do something in the moment, I'm like, yeah, like I'm so confident about what I just said to that person, and then 2 days later, I'll remember it and be like, oh no, oh no, oh no, that was the most embarrassing moment of my life. And it's like, but in the moment, it was fine. But also, there's of course embarrassing things that right when it happens, we're like, this is awful. Let me escape this right now. The other day I was at this event and there were these people who entered and I didn't know them really well or at all, and I just stared at them for a few seconds and I was like, "Hello." And they were like, "Hi." And I was kind of blocking their way to the rest of the event. And I was like, do I introduce them to the event? What do I do? I know this story is vague and weird, but it was just like I stood there and I was just staring at them. And then in the moment, I was like, oh, I can leave. And I walked away, which was even more embarrassing. But you know what? I don't care anymore. Being embarrassed about normal human interactions is so common. I feel like it's good just to learn to laugh at ourselves if something like that happens. That was kind of minuscule. I feel like awkward pauses like that happens in life a lot because we can't edit things in life out like we can online. But anyway, I have some more little stories to share later. Today's gonna feel like a story time at some points, but I don't know. So, because some of my little stories I have come from when I was in elementary school. Like I said, I'll be reading some diary entries later. Because when I was in elementary school, I was so much more confident. Because when we're kids, we don't, I mean, we can be embarrassed, but for the most part, I feel like I was pretty much like, this is me. I don't care. I was watching home videos the other day, and it was my birthday, and I got this present I really loved. I was like turning 8 and I got this poster. I was like freaking out on the couch. Just like, oh my god, I love this, I love this, I love this. And I was like screaming. And I was like, girl is just not embarrassed of anything. Girl is not embarrassed to show her excitement. And I love it. I love it so much. I want to bring back the energy I had in elementary school. I want to bring back before I had social media and felt like everything is embarrassing. Because social media definitely makes things embarrassing with everything being out there, but it's not just our posts online or that's embarrassing. Like I already said, there's so much stuff just in our personal lives on the day-to-day that's embarrassing. But this is a creative podcast, so I do also want to touch on just being embarrassed by creative stuff. I feel super embarrassed recording this podcast. When I record it, I make sure no one is around me to hear what I'm talking about, because in my head I'm like, oh my god, it is so embarrassing if someone hears me speaking to this camera. Meanwhile, I'm publishing it on the internet, and I'm like, okay girl, like if it was actually that embarrassing, why are you putting it out for everyone? Social media feels like a barrier. It's like, not real, it's just fun. But I feel like also I try to hide this podcast and like social media stuff from people I know in real life, because the internet how we perceive or how we put ourselves out there on the internet feels so different to how people already perceive us in our real lives. I'm in, I kind of like, I feel like people can be shapeshifters in a way with how they react to certain people. Obviously, not everyone's like this, but I feel like I do this sometimes. Like, I still have my own constant personality, but you know how we like dial it back for some people. We freak out more with others. We try to act more mature with other people than we do with other. I don't know. We kind of balance. But when I put myself on the internet like this, I feel like I'm just my raw stream of consciousness, especially this podcast. That's just me talking. So, I'm so embarrassed of people hearing my actual thoughts that aren't really embarrassing at all. It's just all comes from overthinking. Because being perceived is scary. And it is impossible to be perceived for your whole life without being embarrassed. You're going to be embarrassed someday. Might as well just kind of take little steps to process how to deal with it. I feel like over time, embarrassment will fade. Not really completely, but when you become more confident in yourself, kind of how I mentioned when I was little, I would just freak out all the time about the stupidest things, and I did not care what people thought of me. I would also say the most unhinged stuff to people in school. So there's this story from elementary school that I like to think of when I think about not being embarrassed, because boy was I not embarrassed at the moment in this story, which is kind of a funny story. But I was in first grade, and there was this kid, and we're going to call him Kent, because I don't want to use real names for this, because I don't know where Kent is now, don't know what Kent's doing. We're going to call him Kent. So basically, it was lunchtime at school one day, and Kent came up to me, and he was like, Cecilia, I'm going to run your whole family over with my tractor. And I said, Kent, my brother is this big, and he's going to kill you with his sword. And then Kent was like, well, I'm going to run your brother and his sword over with my tractor. And I was like, okay, Kent, okay. First of all, I like to say my brother's sword was a sword he made out of duct tape, but Kent did not have to know the sword was made out of duct tape. I just want to threaten Kent, basically. We got to threaten Kent, because he was threatening me. So I was fighting back, and I was like, my brother's going to kill you. Kent was like, I'm going to run over your brother. And so then my genius idea was to speak song lyrics at him. This is standing up in the lunchroom, by the way. We're not seated. I remember we were standing. And I was like, Kent, I hate your stupid old pickup truck. You never let me drive. You're a redneck heartbreak who's really bad at lying. And I don't remember what Kent did, but I think Kent was like, you're weird, and walked away. And if you already know, which you might probably do, those are song lyrics by Taylor Swift, Picture to Burn. And I used her as my self-defense. I was like, all I know are these song lyrics, and Kent seems kind of redneck, so I'm just gonna yell this at him. It's funny because when I was in first grade, though, I didn't really know what the term redneck meant. I thought it meant you have a red neck, just straight up. I thought it was like you have a rashy neck, which maybe that is where I came from. I don't know the history of the term redneck. But I think I specifically used that song lyric because it says pickup truck, and in my head I associated pickup trucks with tractors as the same. I don't know. But whatever I did, it scared Kent away, and I won, and I got over myself. I didn't really win. I don't know what that was. But the same day, what I didn't know at the time until years later, the school called my mom, and the school was like, hi, so we wanted to let you know that at lunch today, this classmate Kent kind of told Cecilia that he wanted to run her family over with a tractor. So if Cecilia is shooken up today, we wanted to let you know that's why. She seemed to handle the situation okay, but we just want to let you know. And my mom was like, oh, okay, weird situation, but the school said it was fine, so it was fine, I guess. And then I come home, skipping off of the bus, what my mom says. And my mom's like, Cecilia. I'm like, hi. And she's like, are you okay? what's the school called? I don't even think she told me the school called. I think she was just like, anything happened at school? And I was like, no. And she was like, did anyone threaten your family? And I was like, yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, that happened. And then I skipped up to my room. And that was it. No embarrassment, no thoughts in her brain. She went upstairs to have a good day. And I want that energy back. I want to be able to have a moment so weird in my life and just that day be like, that happened. Anyways, I got things to do, you know? we got things to do. Yeah, life is gonna be embarrassing, but you got things to do. We got, this is so, and just let the embarrassment roll off your shoulders. Obviously, it can't always roll off your shoulders. I'm not delusional. You're gonna be embarrassed by stuff sometime. It's embarrassing, like posting your art or posting like acting clips. Posting all this stuff is embarrassing. I post my music, like singing little songs, and when I'm like adding the lyrics captions to them, I'm sometimes like, this is awful. I don't like this, but I post it anyway, because you know what? Like, why not? Like, this is our one life. Why am I gonna just, like, be like, no, what will James think of me? Oh my god, he's gonna think this is so great. I don't care about James. We don't care about James. We don't care what James thinks. I don't care what people I knew 10 years ago think. I kind of don't. No, I don't. I was gonna say I do, but no, I don't care. People from high school, if they ever find this and they're like, oh my god, did you see what Cecilia's up to? Cringe. I don't care. You know what? I don't care. Just because it's fun. I'm having fun doing this. And if you want to post your art, post your art. If you don't have finished art to post and you feel like you can't post because it's not finished, post sketches. There are no rules. Whoever said you have to have everything done to put yourself out there? If you live by that, you're never gonna put yourself out there. Just post whatever you've already made. If you haven't made anything, just go make something. I don't know, have fun, and post it. And if you don't want to post it, that's okay. That's why this podcast is also about. That's why I'm also talking about real life embarrassing moments, because not just posting yourself online is embarrassing. There is so much embarrassment. So much beautiful embarrassment to live through. I'm trying to remember like the most embarrassing moments of my life, but I can't like process my whole life right now. I like that story of me in first grade, but it's funny because it wasn't embarrassing. That's why I'm telling it, because I'm like, that if me right now as like an adult went up to someone in the street and was like, I hate your stupid old pickup truck, you never let me drive, well, they might start singing with me, because I think that song is more well known now. But I feel like I would be like, why did I do that? That's weird. We have this more unhingedness when we're kids. I'm trying to bring back the unhinged. I want to see her again, because she knew what she wanted. She knew how to get it. And I'm just gonna inspire myself. I'm inspired by little me. And you should inspire yourself too, because all the little dreams you have in your head, it can be real if you just get over what other people think, because that is what holds us back so much, is people existing. And you know what? There's so many people in the world. Someone's gonna think bad of you. Someone probably already does. I can probably name some people I think that don't like me. And you know what? I don't care. But as you have more confidence in yourself, you'll just build up your self-love, and you'll be embarrassed less. I know the people in my life who get embarrassed the most are people who struggle, I think, the most with mental health issues like anxiety and depression, and that's obviously something that is chemical, that is harder, obviously, to deal with. It's not as easy as, well, don't be embarrassed, just stop, because that's not possible for people. This podcast, I kind of just want it to lighten the mood of things. It's not a problem solver. I want to preface that. I'm aware that words cannot fix everything, you know? I hate when I'm having a bad day and someone's like, well, just smile. What? No, I can't right now. It's funny that I'm talking about this, like, just stop being embarrassed, because I actually had like a really bad mental breakdown yesterday. So if you're listening to me or watching me right now and you're like, oh my god, she is such a ray of light, she is. Here, I'm gonna put a photo if you're watching this here. This is a selfie I took yesterday. So if you're like, wow, she's so happy. No, no, because you know what? The internet is fake. But I'm trying to be as real as I can, and that's why I'm showing you this photo. And if you're listening, the photo is me with a really puffy face and blotchy cheeks, just sad, lifeless. Because I love that people in our generation, like after a mental breakdown, I don't know how many people do this, but I know others do. We're like, oh my god, selfie. Like, oh my god, I was just breaking down. Time to document it. I don't know why it's fun. It like just makes it kind of funny in the moment, but also I was really sad, so it wasn't funny. I don't know what made me take the photo. Anyway, I wrote this down in my notes for this episode, which haven't been helping me at all. My notes for this episode I wrote at like 1 a.m. and they're so hard to read, which is embarrassing. But you know what? I don't care. I wrote embarrassment kind of sounds like the word embrace. So we should embracement. I'm so sorry. But then it says maybe we should embrace embracement, because that means you're doing things. So let's all take a second and embrace our embracements. Listen, I don't know what I'm on right now. What was this? 1 a.m. thoughts be like embracement. But we really should just embrace embarrassment, because the more you're embarrassed, the more you're just living your life, honestly. If you screamed at someone in a bar and cried and ran outside, slay. More plot. Like, more plot. Did you think it was embarrassing in the moment? Sure. Is it a good story? Yes. Yes, it is. What's another embarrassing thing? What's an embarrassing thing I've done that's like actually... Oh, I was in France once and I couldn't speak one word of English. Hello, it is editing Cecilia. I meant I couldn't speak one word of French. And I cried multiple times in public. I was sobbing in a cafe once. It was about something else, but I've cried. I went to France and I was still sobbing. Like, you're gonna be embarrassed and sad anywhere you go, anywhere in life. It's just, it'll find you. So, just take a second, you'll be okay. I know that sometimes it feels like you'll never be okay, but you will be, hopefully. Like I said, I'm aware that mental health is deeper than words, and I acknowledge that. I just am doing my best to kind of be a little lighthearted space for people just to feel cozy, comfy, and we can sit down and kind of be like, wow, our brains are weird. And you know what else is weird? Drawing pictures. And this episode hasn't been as much about creative stuff, but being a creative is honestly just being a person. And creating is like drawing, painting, writing, singing, I don't know, parts of you. It's all part of you. And I feel like it's so much more fulfilling to be a creative if you are okay with yourself and you love yourself and you are able to appreciate the work you're making. Obviously, you won't be able to appreciate all the time. That's normal. It's normal to make something and be like, that's awful. Okay. But it doesn't mean it doesn't mean you yourself are awful at what you're making. Something can suck and it just sucks and that's it. And then you move on and make another and that one might suck too. You just keep going. Because being a creative is just being human, and we mess up all the time as humans, just in day to day. So of course we're gonna mess up creating stuff. Don't doubt yourself just because you messed up one thing. Like if you are practicing guitar or learning guitar, and you're like, I'm never gonna get this. I can barely play guitar now, but when I started, I've been picking up and putting down the guitar, I feel like, since I was 14. I don't play it really, but I'd pick it up and I'd play like 2 chords and I'd be like, I can't do this. I set it down for 5 years. I pick it up again. I'm like, I can't do this. But now I picked it up about, I picked it up around only 2 years ago, and since then I've been kind of playing it. And honestly, it's more than I ever thought I could do. And when I first picked up oh my goodness, a guitar when I was 14, I was like, how does anyone do this? And now I actually do play it a little. I'm not great at it. If actual guitar players who are talented listen to me, they probably would cringe. But honestly, I'm so impressed that I know more than 3 chords. Even though I only play 3 chords like all the time, I know the other ones. I just choose not to play them all the time. Okay, I'm a painter. I'm a songstress. Oh, songstress. I like that word. But I'm trying to learn guitar. I would like to be a guitarist to go with my songstress. But it's just a journey. It's just a journey. And we want to embrace that journey with embarrassment. Because you're going to be embarrassed. Sorry. Bad news. Okay. I'm just going to read from my notes because I honestly don't know what I was thinking. Okay. I wrote, scary to tell people your passions and goals because it can be embarrassing. Yes. It is embarrassing to tell people your goals because you feel like sometimes people, like I said earlier, people perceive you different ways. So it's like, oh my God, this person perceives me as being this, but that's not what I want to be. I want to be what this person perceives me as, but that person already perceives me as this. So I'm saying the word perceives a lot and it's bothering me mentally, but it's fine. So it's scary to tell people our passions and goals. You don't have to outright tell people what all your goals are. If people ask, you can be as vague as possible. That's up for you to decide. If it's scary to tell people what you want out of life, then just just go for what you want and be true to you. Tell the people you want to tell. If when you tell people your goals in life, they don't react how you wanted them to react, that doesn't mean you stop them. Because sometimes I feel like I'll tell people, like, I want to be this. And they're like, okay, good luck. And then I'm like, oh, I shouldn't do that then. No, stop it. Just do it anyway. Why do you care what they care? I mean, like, I know why you care what they care, because being human is all just like social interactions and what people think of you. But it's like I feel like you really get to start living when you're just like, oh my God, I just want to do what I want to do and just not be embarrassed by it. And I'm kind of in this stage right now. I'm trying to tell myself what I want in life is not embarrassing. And I'm like, I just want to be happy. I just want to be vibes. Yeah. I also wrote down, like, sometimes people, like, go on more traditional career routes because the career they actually want is, like, embarrassing. I feel like that happens. Sometimes people just go with what their family wants or what their partner wants or what their friends are doing. And then you're like, what happened to what I wanted? It's really hard to live for yourself. But I feel like we'll all figure it out in time. You don't have to rush it, I don't think. I'm sorry if I'm making it sound like, stop caring what everyone thinks about you right now. That's not going to happen. I don't think that's ever going to happen. You're always going to care what people think about you. Unless you don't. Some people just never have or never do. I know a few people like that. They could be lying to me, but I trust them. And I'm just like, okay, go you. Like, oh my God. But if you are someone who cares what people think, that's okay. Just don't let you caring so much about what they think affect what you do. Like, you can care what they think, but just keep doing what you want to do anyway. And be like, well, they think that. I don't like that they think that, but I like what I'm doing. And I'm just going to keep doing it. No matter who hears, who sees, it's me. I feel like I keep rhyming in this podcast episode. I feel like that's the second time I rhymed something. Embarrassment, embracement. Embracement, the embarrassment. And breathe. I should do a yoga class. I'd be awful at it, by the way. Also, another day-to-day, I feel like when I apply to jobs, it's embarrassing. Just like talking is embarrassing. Feeling unsure about what you're doing in life is embarrassing. It's so impossible to get away from embarrassment. And it's fun. It's a good time. I don't know why applying for jobs can feel embarrassing, because I'll like put my resume in and put everything in and I'll be like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing that I applied for this job. That's like, they're gonna think I want the job now. That's embarrassing. You applied for it. You want the job. They want you to want the job. It's just funny. Just do whatever. Honestly. I'm also not as embarrassed about the tiny things as I'm making it seem I am. I feel like I've been getting a little better at not being embarrassed. Sometimes I get really embarrassed about stuff and then I get really defensive. I need to work on that. Because I feel like sometimes when you're embarrassed by something and someone brings up the thing you're embarrassed by, you're like, what are you talking about? No, I'm not. No. Like, you can get defensive about the things you're embarrassed about or embarrassed about a thing that happened. It's like when you trip on the sidewalk. Wait, but don't hurt yourself. Just like it's like if you do a little trip in front of a whole bunch of people and people look at you and you can either laugh and then they'll all laugh around you, or you can glare at them and be like, what are you looking at? But I feel like life can just be more fun if you just start laughing and everyone laughs together at you, because that's hilarious. You are so funny for falling down. I shouldn't. Tripping on the sidewalk isn't a good example because you can trip and hurt yourself, but imagine you didn't hurt yourself. It was just funny. Let's just imagine that. You kind of hear when people get older, like, they stop caring more and more about, they stop caring about what people think of them. And I feel like just the earlier you learn that, the more you can just experience life and experience what you want. And realize that some things that people say not to do, why shouldn't you do them? This is random, but the other day, this is yesterday too, actually, I had a very mentally weird day yesterday. It started thundering and pouring rain, and I was like, I'm gonna go sit in that. And I went outside and I sat in the grass, and I just sat in the grass as it rained on me. And it was slightly thundering. It wasn't dangerous thunder and lightning. I'm not telling you to go out into storms, but I just really like the rain, but we're like told, like, go inside when it rains, take shelter. And I just went outside and sat in the rain and in the grass, and I was like, this is great. Also, it was right before I took a shower, so if you do want to sit in the rain, I recommend doing it and then showering, because you will get really soaked and you'll feel uncomfy, so might as well. I think that's why I didn't care. It's just so fun to do stuff that you decided to do, even if it's like the smallest thing, like sitting in the rain. Like, just having the own little control over your life is so nice. Like when you trip and you laugh at yourself, like you chose that it was funny, and now everyone else can enjoy it too. Because you chose it. What, you took that into your own hands. And if you want to be upset about tripping, that's okay too. You choose to be upset. Just choose your life. I don't know. If you feel like you can't choose your life right now, that's very common. There are so many people who feel like they can't choose their life. I feel like that sometimes. That was part of my mental breakdown yesterday, is being like, I have no control over my life, and I was sad, and I was having like an emotional crisis on who I am. It happens. Being alive is weird. Our brains are so complicated, but just making lightheartedness of some stuff can make it a little more enjoyable. It can help you see the sun a little more. And also, the more you get older, the more you realize no one knows what they're doing, and that's just even more reason to follow what you want, what really calls to you. It's hard because it's so hard to do what you want when we need money to live. And I've been struggling with that a lot recently. Don't get me wrong, like, as much as I say, do what you want, choose your life. To choose our life, we need some kind of income. And it can be a really sore topic. It really is for me right now. I honestly feel my mood lowering right now as I talk about money. Because it's scary, and we all just want to be comfortable in our own life and have enough money to do what we want to do or be who we want to be. And that's something I'm not as great at giving advice on, because I haven't figured out how to make enough money for myself to live right now. I know how to make money, so don't be like, get a job, like, okay. Thank you. Like, I'm just trying to figure out how to live my life and make money in a way that isn't soul sucking, in a way that is true to me, and also create all the projects I want to create. Because like I said, Create and Cry, this podcast is for creative people and trying to figure out how to balance being a creative with real life and not let the tiresomeness of a day-to-day job get in the way of your creative mind. So yeah, I know it can be really soul-sucking out there. I'm just trying to put a little more soul back into our little happy lives with this podcast. It honestly is therapeutic for me too, just to sit down and kind of unpack little topics. I'm almost done here with talking about embarrassment, and then we're going to move on to my diary entries, which will be interesting. I don't know what I'm going to read yet. I think I have some picked out, some specific entries, but we might just wing it. A few last things are, think about how many other people are alive right now. A lot. And everyone is doing something different right now. Like, I'm unable to process it. You're unable to process it. None of us can process how many people are alive right now doing things. But with that many people, there are so many people right now who are a million times more lost than you are. There's a whole bunch of people doing better than you are. And there's a whole bunch of people exactly how you are right now. So if you feel alone, just be like, oh my God. Just like in your head, talk to them. Be like, hey guys, what's up? Like, are we good today? Who cried? I did. Like, I don't know. Just like telepath. Talk to each other throughout the world. That'd be so funny if you could do that. Like, I know we have social media, but social media is kind of like disguised a little bit, where people are either pretending like they're doing better than they are. So it'd be funny if you could just be like, hey guys, who cried today? Actually, just do that. Post a video asking. If you're having a mental breakdown, just post one like, hey, is anyone else crying? And I bet you'll get like 100 people being like, me. Or you'll get 2 likes because social media is hard, and I don't know. But basically, please forgive yourself for the embarrassing moments, because you are just being you. Even if yourself isn't your best self all the time, no one is their best self all the time. Everyone has moments when they're mean. Everyone has moments when they're too sad to talk to people and they come off as reserved and rude. Everyone has these moments. It's okay. Forgive yourself for those moments. Forgive yourself for the moments where you didn't treat someone how you wanted to treat them. You didn't react to a comment how you wish you would have reacted. You didn't say what you wanted to say, because everyone's done that. Just forgive yourself. It is so much better if you just take a deep breath and you're like, it's okay. I feel like last episode I also was like being like, it's gonna be okay, guys. Everyone's just gonna be like, yeah, okay, we get it, Cecilia. Anyway, time for diary entry time. It's time for diary entries. I was gonna sing something, but I really don't want to. So, I'm gonna find some fun little diary entries. By the way, if you are watching this, this is what my diary looks like. Taylor Swift. So for this first diary entry, here we go. I'm gonna be using all fake names. I wrote down a cheat sheet for what I'm gonna call people on here. So if it takes me a second to read the names, just bear with me. There's a lot of names in this one. Here we go. Oh my God, I'm excited. So, I'm in 7th grade now. And the whole time I have been in junior high, I have never told you about someone. I don't love him. I don't. I like to say I don't, but I don't know. 7th grade is so fun because of him. We were in chorus together, and it seems like when he looks at me, I look at him. I feel like we both know who each other are and what our stories are, but we never have spoken. This year, in 7th grade, so many things have happened. Let me take you through my real 7th grade life so far. ... The whole thing with, well, the boy started at a football game. My friend, this is when I started listing people. My friend, Bailey, me, Morgan. Morgan's name is real because Morgan is my best friend and she doesn't care. Daisy and Mary were all walking around at the game. Bailey took Morgan away to tell her something. Then Mary, then Daisy. I was so confused. And when I asked what it was about, by the look on their face, I knew it was about me. And then I stopped writing, and then in a box I wrote, "Hey, I'm cutting off this story to say this. I'm writing now like a year later. Now I'm in 8th grade. Back to what happened a year ago to me at the football game." So I must have just stopped writing in 7th grade, but I picked up the story the next year. Anyway, so this is the same story. So I knew it was something about me because of how they were asking. I found out like 5 minutes later that this is what was happening. Bailey sits next to this guy, Dean, in Flex. Dean will be in this journal later too. I wrote that in brackets. Bailey overheard Dean talking about how his friend Christopher wanted a date. The drama. A date to the dance. P.S. Christopher is the guy I have liked since 6th grade. Anyways, Bailey told Dean she thinks her friend Cecilia, who he should ask. And yeah, so that happened. Then at the football game, I think I chased Dean around because, well, I was mad. But later that year, Bailey told Christopher to ask me out. But then I wrote a note with one word on it for Bailey to give him because I did not want him to ask me out. The note said, "Die." Oh God, I think. And in brackets I said, "I know that's stupid." Okay, but now I'm going to tell you what is happening and going on so far in 8th grade. Here we go. Oh my God, so that was the 7th grade drama, and now we're going to get the 8th grade drama. Okay, so flashback to the beginning of the year. I got a paper saying who is in my homeroom, and of course, with my luck, Christopher is in it, and he just so happens to be in my English first period, gym, computer concepts, and choir. And I, of course, pass him all the time in the hallway, and of course, his locker is almost next to mine. There's only one locker between us, but the girl is never there. And yeah, I kind of still like him, okay? A lot like him, but right now, this is happening. And then I wrote on next page, I wouldn't know. And then it says, this begins in 7th grade. All right, so this started in 7th grade, but I'm writing in 8th grade now. Jess and Christopher used to date, and I became friends with Jess while they were dating. Bailey, one of my closer friends, was dating Dean at the time when Christopher and Jess were dating. Dean and Christopher are best friends, along with this guy named Ben. Ben was dating my friend, Lori. At the same time, all the rest of this dating is going on. They all dated for a while when more stuff happened. Dean wanted to break up with Bailey, so he told Ben to break up with Lori because he didn't want to be the only one breaking up with someone. Ben ended up breaking up with Lori, but Dean didn't break up with Bailey. Ben wanted Lori back, but Lori was all no way. Then at 1 a.m., over a text message on July 5th, almost 2 months later, Dean sends Bailey a message saying he is breaking up with her. Now, flash forward to 8th grade, turns out Christopher broke up with Jess over the summer, and now they hate each other. Jess is now dating Ben, but Ben is still friends with Christopher. I don't know how Christopher puts up with this, but I'm still friends with Jess. But it turns out Dean likes me now, but I like Christopher. But Christopher has a new girlfriend, and I'm kind of friends with his old girlfriend. But Christopher still likes me. He liked me in 6th grade because he has this stupid list, and I'm right after his girlfriend on the list. But also Devin. And I said, you know who. Devin's the guy I had a big crush on in elementary school. Devin told me he still likes me this year. But I'm over him. I think he is weird now. I know it's mean, but it's true. And now Dean used to have a girlfriend after Bailey named Rachel. But they broke up a couple days ago. So basically, I like Christopher. Christopher has a girlfriend. Dean likes me. He is best friends with Christopher. And more stuff. The worst part? It's just November. We're just in 8th grade. I don't know what is yet to come. There you go. That is one diary entry from 8th grade. You know what's funny? The next year, I didn't talk to any of these people. I talked to Morgan, and Bailey is a fake name, but I didn't talk to like anyone else who I'm mentioning here. I got over Christopher, and I had big crushes on other people who I actually did go to date, and it actually became a lot of drama. The tea was real in high school. I might go more back in time and kind of I'm gonna read from my elementary school diary now. And I mentioned Devin in the last one, the guy I was like, you know who, but I think he's weird now. So you might hear a little more about him in this one. This is again all fake names. I really love Devin. I think he likes me too. It's awesome. How do I get him to like me the best out of his 3 crushes? Daisy. I like her a lot, but Devin doesn't like her, so she's okay. Katie. Oh, I can't stand her. I don't know why, but she always steals Devin away from me when I get a chance. She's like jealous or something. Does she know I'm jealous of her? XOXOXXOO. That's a cute little one. This next one is kind of crazy. So there was this kid, and he really bothered me in elementary school just because he was really obnoxious. And this is about this kid. We're gonna call him Kent, but it's not Kent. It's a different guy. But I'm just gonna use Kent for all the people little me hated. Man, I really have to practice my saxophone. And man, I really love Devin. OMG, today at school, that thing, Kent, got me and Katie into trouble. On the outside, I'm sweet and nice, but on the inside, I want to kill Kent. That thing is so stupid. This guy was like this blonde guy that I really just hated him for he didn't really, I don't think he did anything. We were all just kids. Anyway, he better watch his back. And then literally immediately after, is a few days later, I go, no, I don't care about Kent. He's nice. And I said, oh, here we go. This is more about Devin. Well, Devin and I were partners today in science, and Katie would have been with us, but she was absent. Yay! But Devin said something I did not like, and then I drew a picture, which I don't want to show you because I think I saved the real names in it, but it's a stick figure of Devin saying, we would have been done by now if Katie was here, don't you think? And it's me saying, yeah. And then there's a bubble of thought above my head, and it has a little heart broken, and it says, I hate Katie at the bottom. Sorry to anyone named Katie. That I have friends named Katie, and that wasn't even her real name. And also, she wasn't even bad. We actually were really chill in high school and junior high, me and that girl. All right. I think I might have time for one more, like a really short one. So this is one from high school. This diary entry is from when I'm 16 now, and it's about my first boyfriend before we dated when we were just friends. Oh my god, drama. I'm just kidding. It says, trying to think what should his fake name be. I'm gonna fake name him Marshall. I'm gonna call him Marshall. I don't know. Okay, I want to sleep, so I'm just going to say one thing that happened today. First period, I was sitting in my seat, and Marshall said, Cecilia. So I turned around, and he gave me this small silver paper. I jokingly took it and gave it back to him because I thought it was a wrapper, but it was a piece of gum ripped in half. I took it, and he was like, it's gum. And I was confused, and I thought he bit it off or something, but no. He just randomly gave me the other half of his gum. LOL, I don't know why. I didn't even want gum. Whatever. Good night. How romantic. Alright. And I think we're going to sign off today with that gum statement. Awesome. So, if you ever want to hear me read more from my diaries, I got a lot of info in here. I don't want to read it all to you right now, just in case I run out of fun ideas and need to bring them back. But actually, I got a lot of fun ideas. I just looked down and remembered something I want to do. So, but if you want to hear more diary entries, please let me know. I know no one listens to this. I don't care. Morgan listens to this. I mentioned her earlier. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode about embarrassment and diary entries. And notice how in my diary entry I wrote that I literally handed a kid a piece of paper that said die on it. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's honestly, now I remember, that's probably one of the worst things I've ever done. Because I don't know what that kid was going through. We never spoke. I very much said in there, like, I like him. I'm in love with this man. We never spoke. We never dated. I don't know anything about him now. Um, what did I call him? Christopher. But who's Marshall? Marshall I did date later. Marshall is more real than Christopher. Christopher, I just handed him a note that said die, and that was it. And that was that. Don't do that. Don't ever tell people to die, please. It's not good. It's not fun. It's not a good time. Unless it's like your friend and they know you're joking. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Create and Cry. As always, my links are somewhere. I hope you find them. My links are attached in my... I don't know if you can find it on Spotify or anything, but I doubt anyone's actually finding me on Spotify. But they're in my YouTube channel. I have a link tree if you get there. If you look up Create and Cry on YouTube, I have Instagram and everything. I'll try to link it below if I can. And if you don't see a link there, that means I didn't figure it out. So yeah, I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. I hope if you're embarrassed, you learn how to laugh at yourself a little bit and you realize that you're just embarrassed because you're living your life. And I hope your life is beautiful. I hope the people in your life are kind to you. I hope you are kind to yourself. So that was Create and Cry, episode 2. I'll see you next week for episode 3, where I think we're going to talk about healing, and I might find some poetry to read. I don't know. That might change. If that's not what the next episode is, oops. We'll see what happens. Goodbye. The end.